Good morning. Happy Easter, everyone. Texas Senator Ted Cruz gaining momentum in the race for the White House. Hi, everyone. I'm Maria Bartiromo. Welcome to Sunday Morning Futures. This coming as Cruz picks up more endorsements from former presidential candidates Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush. The latest Fox News poll shows that Donald Trump still has a lead with 41% of the vote. But look at where Ted Cruz is coming in second with now 38% of the vote. That's within the margin of error. Ohio Governor John Kasich finishing third with 17%. Joining me right now, a Cruz supporter, former presidential candidate himself, and former governor of Texas, Rick Perry. Governor, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Happy Easter. It's good to be with you.
Thank you so much. And to you and family, what's your take on this? It looks like things are really getting tight here with these most recent endorsements for Ted Cruz.
Yeah, I think so. And that's what everyone expected to occur, was when it got down to a two-man race, which obviously it is, and everyone recognizes it as a two-person race, that Senator Cruz was going to do really well, and I think probably take the lead at some point in time, which takes us to this issue of a contested primary, if that is, or not a contested primary, but a contested convention, if that is where it goes. Not unlike a runoff election, if you will. So we started out with 17, and it's winnowed down now to a two-person race, and if nobody gets to 1237, you can expect a contested contest there at the convention. And at that particular point in time, I think there are going to be a lot of people really comfortable that Ted Cruz, the consistent constitutionalist, if you will, the consistent conservative, best person for us to put forward to beat Hillary Clinton.
Well, you know, it's interesting because I don't think this is where the GOP thought that they would be, right? I mean, this whole idea, you said contested primary actually by mistake, but that's actually what it's been. Contested primary season as well, right? Now all of a sudden the GOP the GOP is rallying behind Ted Cruz, but in some cases reluctantly so, right?
Well, I think no one saw this coming. A year ago, I thought it was going to be Jeb Bush and myself, two, successful governors, kind of laying out their vision for America and bumping their records up against each other. But that's not what the electorate wanted. The electorate wants an outsider, someone who will really shake Washington, D.C. up. And I think what they're getting comfortable with is that the person who best is capable of doing that, that is the most consistent in their ability to shake Washington up, if you will, is Ted Cruz. He's done what he said he would do. Go to Washington, D.C. He would do everything he could to overturn Obamacare, to take care of our veterans. And people are getting very comfortable that that truly is the individual. They like what they're hearing Donald Trump say, but they're not sure that this guy is going to be consistent when it comes to actually governing. Yeah,
and actually governing with solutions. I mean, we saw, once again, more terrorists this week obviously create havoc, and now national security is once again the top issue for voters, and they want to feel like they have a leader in place that has a plan to take down ISIS.
Yeah, and not just throwing up some words that sound good, like, let's build a wall, and it's going to be a big wall, and it's going to be 10 foot higher just because you said that, and we're going to make Mexico pay for it. All kind of interesting rhetoric, but Senator Cruz has been the one that's actually laid out clearly the way that you secure the border with technology, with boots on the ground, with the type of effort that really we know will work. And we haven't heard Mr. Trump be that specific, and I think now, after people are kind of getting past the rhetoric and all the rah-rah stuff, and they're looking at the clear plans to get things done, they're settling that Ted Cruz is the person that actually is going to do what he says he's going to do, and has the consistency and the conservative message to win, not only in the primary process, but also the general election. Yeah.
Well, you do have to give Donald Trump credit for bringing out this issue in such an aggressive way, though. I mean, I had an interview with him back in January, Governor. I think it was the end of January 2016, and he said, unsolicited, that Brussels was falling apart and that it was so radicalized. And then the next day, the New York Times writes a story, and they say, Donald Trump chose a new city to insult, Brussels. And yet, look where we are, and look what just happened in Brussels.
Listen, Donald Trump has got good instincts. There's not any doubt about that. But, you know, we can't govern with just instincts alone. We have to have a plan. And when we hear him being pressed about, well, tell us what your plan truly is, that's when it gets a little bit into the gray area, and I think where Americans are starting to get uncomfortable now that the guy's got good instincts. He's great TV, but when it comes to really laying out with definitive plans and who is consistent. When you look back at Ted Cruz, this is a consistent conservative day in and day out.
Yeah.
And I think Americans so want consistency in their government. They're tired of people talking one thing and then doing something else.
Yeah, we're going to talk with Senator Cruz coming up in the program. I wanted to get into his tax plan because when it comes to the economy, he also has solid positions in terms of tax reform as well as rolling back
Indeed.
Regulations.
Yeah, when you talk about doing away with the IRS and being able to file your taxes on a single postcard, that not only does that really resonate with Americans, it is where we need to go as a country to free this country up economically, and I will suggest to you that he has a plan that will work, and it will work really well.
Yeah. Let me ask you about getting the necessary 1,237 delegates. I mean, obviously, Donald Trump is still in the lead in that regard, but, you know, Ted Cruz seems to believe that he could actually get to 1237 before the convention in July. But Governor, I mean, doesn't that mean he's going to have to, you know, he's going to have to run the table, or he's going to have to win every single contest from here out in?
Well, certainly that's his intention, and nobody said this was going to be easy at this particular point in time, but there still is an avenue for Senator Cruz to get to the 1237 before the convention. It's not going to be easy, and there's no use trying to sit here and tell people that it is. I don't think he'll tell you that it's going to be easy. It is doable, and you can bet he's going to be working. Listen, Wisconsin's going to be really important, and what Paul Ryan and Scott Walker do matters in Wisconsin, and having those two guys weigh in for Senator Cruz could be monumental.
Yeah, I mean, I know that these endorsements most recently have really helped Ted Cruz, but, you know, you've got a fair amount of endorsements on the Trump side as well. I mean, look at Jeff Sessions is on his team. Stephen Miller, who we had on this program last week, is very articulate about the whole immigration issue.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Christie.
But when it's your home state governor, you think about Governor Abbott and myself both, and obviously Senator Cruz is from Texas, and he's got his own operation there. But when the home state governor and when the Speaker of the House, that could be really, really important in Wisconsin.
Powerful.
I hope both of those will give great consideration to Senator Cruz, because I know they can work with him at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff. You're right. And what about, let's talk the delegates for a moment, because the delegates that are up for grabs, they're not necessarily Trump delegates, they're not necessarily Cruz delegates, they're GOP delegates.
Yeah.
So they can go
you're
anyway.
absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And when you look at the way the convention is set up and the process of winnowing down to a nominee, after that first ballot, people are going to come and they're going to be committed because their state is committed to Donald Trump. He won that state, therefore they were committed to him. On the second ballot, they're freed up. They can go wherever they want. And I'll suggest to you, those are going to be what I refer to as real Republicans. They're activist Republicans. They're people who know what that Republican platform, by and large, talks about. They're solidly in the pro-life, pro-traditional family, economic world that you find most Republicans. And what you've seen in a lot of states is that, you know, to Donald Trump's credit, he's brought a lot of people in that aren't Republicans, that are basically, you know, they'll admit they're Democrats, but they kind of are intrigued by him or what have you. But philosophically, they are not in that limited government conservative camp.
Yeah.
When that convention occurs, that's the people that you will see voting, and that's the reason I think Ted Cruz in a contested convention is going to do very, very well.
Governor, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
We appreciate
Absolutely.
it, and we will
Happy
see
holiday.
you soon. Governor.